So, good morning everyone and welcome to the next video. In this video, we want to take a closer look on the basic concepts on how to work with Mural. And for that purpose, we're gonna look how Mural looks from a participant's perspective. So what are we going to consider? So first of all, we want to take a look how to access Mural as a visitor. Then we briefly introduce concepts how to navigate within a Mural before we talk about the most relevant concept, which is working with sticky notes. This is what we do most of the time in Mural. And then we go to some further elements like using different shapes and connectors, icons, frameworks, which is a very important concept, integration of images, files, and so on. And in the end, you will gonna make an exercise on your own to practice a bit and to familiarize yourself with Mural. So let's start with this. And what I did before was I already introduced to you how to share an anonymous link for a mural. And I just integrated this anonymous link here in PowerPoint. So if I just click it, the same thing will happen to your participants that you share the link with, which is basically that the browser will open and direct you to the shared mural. So let's give it a try. I just click on this mural, and what we see is I'm just switching over to the next monitor. Here you see my browser already opened. It welcomes me to the mural and I'm asked to enter my name. So I just enter my name here, my email address. The email address is optional, so you don't have to enter it if you want. And then I can say there as a visitor. And there we are. And I'm already here on a mural. I just have to delete this one. Yeah. This is how the newly opened mural will look to us. It's just a blank mural with no elements integrated. So what are we going to do here? The basic thing that we work with is we use sticky notes to share our thoughts and contribute to our exercise. So on the left side, this is where you find the menu. And here the top element says text. And if you open this element, then you can select different types of sticky notes, like a square one, a rectangular one. We have different colors. And yeah, and basically that's it. What we can do now to navigate inside this mural is we can use either the navigation pane, which is on the very right bottom. You don't see it actually. I have to hide myself. There it is. And here you have the navigation pane, which you can use to zoom around or to move around, to zoom in and zoom out. Basically, very simple concept. But the more practical approach here is to use the mouse. So you can just drag and move the mural around. You can hold the control key and without control key, you can use the scroll wheel of the mouse to zoom in and zoom out. And this is how we navigate. Something which is also very handy is if you want to take a closer look on some elements integrated here, you can press the X key. I will do it now. So then you can just move your mouse over some elements and then you see them in a bigger way and can see the content, even though we don't have a content yet. Okay, so let's work with our sticky notes. So we have integrated some sticky notes and now by double clicking, I can add some text like my first sticky note. That's what we do all the time, using sticky notes and writing text. Then of course you have some possibilities to change your sticky notes. So you can increase the text, you can decrease the text, you can format the text, like for example, make it bold or italic and all the basic things that you already know from your favorite text editors. Okay, then we also can change the color afterwards. By hitting the color button here, we can select to use a different color if we want to. We can give it a frame, a border like here. And this is how we can edit them. Then of course we also can increase and decrease the size by simply dragging and dropping. And we also can rotate our individual sticky notes just by using the mouse like this. And that's the basic concept, using sticky notes, formatting them, and that's what we do most of the time. Then you also can change the type if you want to. Here we have the switch type element, and we can change it, I don't know, to a square one or to a round one. So we have pretty many possibilities here for working with the sticky notes. Let's change this one back to the rectangular one. And something that is very handy here is the aspect that you also can integrate, for example, a link. So just by clicking your sticky note, choosing the link icon, and then you can integrate the link to a document or to a website. For example, I give the website of our company. So, and there we have a link. And now you can click the button and the link will open in a new browser window. Okay, so these are the basic elements, but there is another way to be a little bit faster, and typically the way that we normally do. So we can integrate the new sticky note by simply double clicking somewhere here, and then we will integrate the last type of sticky note that we have used before. So in that case, it's a rounded and blue sticky note. If I change it to a rectangular and make it green like this, and now I double click, oh, the color is remembered, but not the size. Anyways, doesn't matter. So, but that's the basic concept. Then aside of the sticky notes, you also have the option to integrate some text elements, like this is my text box. And the text element is basically pretty similar than the sticky note. The only difference is that you can adjust the size here as well. And also with the text box, you can change the color. For example, we can make it green. We can change the text, make it bold. And so you have some different options to work with text elements. And as you already see, this is pretty intuitive. There is not a big deal behind. That's very easy accessible. And if you have experienced once, then you will see that you're pretty fast with that. And this is important for the participants. So it's only a little thing to learn, and then they are pretty fast with working. Okay, so we have seen the sticky notes, we have seen the text box. Then we also can use some title. So this is a title. It's basically the same thing, just a little bit bigger. Yeah, not a big deal again. So here we have the title as well. And something that is also pretty useful is that when you collaborate here, and typically we always collaborate. So now I'm alone at this mural, but in a group exercise, there are many people here working simultaneously. And what's very useful here is that you also can integrate commands. So for example, someone posts a sticky note and you want to add some message or some information, then you can use the command function. And here you can integrate a command and can say, are you sure about that? I don't know. Okay. And then we already have a command. Okay, in that case, we don't have the command. Oh, I didn't save it. So again, so are you sure about that? And send the command. And now we have the command and we can attach the command like here. And so we can see that someone already posted a command to this particular sticky note. Okay, so this is the main concept, how to work with sticky notes. Just delete the old ones by hitting the del button, or you also can use the right click of the mouse and say delete. And that's it. Okay, then aside of the plain sticky notes, we also have some other elements to work with. So the next thing here are shapes and connectors. So this is also pretty useful, especially when you want to make diagrams or want to show a flow or something like that. Then you can simply drag or click some shapes here on the left side. For example, I take the rectangular one. I say this is phase 1. Let's improve this, increase the size a little bit. Then we could integrate a second one, but what I typically do very often is I just click it and I say duplicate. When it's phase 2, maybe we want to integrate, increase the size a bit. So we have 2 phases, something like that. And now we want to integrate an arrow to show the connection. So we just can take any arrow type here. So I choose the direct one and I just drag and drop it. Can select the type. I want to have this one. Maybe we increase the stroke a little bit. Yeah, and that's basically how we can create an arrow connection. So we have a short flow already. Maybe we also want to switch the arrow type. So we take this one, and now it already looks a little bit better. Maybe we want to arrange our sticky notes inside here. And I think you already get the idea of how to work with these elements. Okay, that's the shapes and connectors. And some other fancy stuff here is that you can use different icons if you want to express some emotion or anything. So if we select the icons menu here, then you already have some suggestions of different icons, but you also can browse for something. Let's say, I don't know, let's say a cat. A cat is always a good idea on the internet. So we want to search for a cat, and here we already have a nice cat, and we can integrate some cat icon. So phase 1 definitely is the cat face in that case. And one here again. This is something I always introduce to the participants because searching here for the icons, playing around, it triggers some fun emotion and people like to play. And by playing around with all these things, they start to involve themselves with the exercise. And so this is something that I always introduce. Typically, I use the thumbs up element like this one. So I can also show that I like what they have done. Maybe we also can switch the color here, make it green. Thumbs up in green is always a good idea. Yeah, and that's the basic concept of how to integrate shapes and connectors and icons. The next element here in the menu is a little bit more important. It's the frameworks element. So frameworks are something specific here. So let's take a look what we can do with frameworks. So the basic concept is that integrating a framework, as the name already says, provides a frame for different other elements. It's like a container that you can use to collect or to place your elements and to give your murals a little bit more structure. And so for that purpose, we already have different layouts existing. So we have the plain one, the freeform area, which also could be a grid area. We have different types of grids. And we also have some more sophisticated elements. You can browse through them right here. So for example, with design, we have different design templates. You can take a closer look at them if you want to. We have some agile working templates like the wall of work or the Scrum board, as you probably know. We have a framework for a sprint retrospective and so on. And of course, what's never missing, some business frameworks like a business model canvas and stuff like that. To get started with these elements, we just take the freeform area, which is the most simple one, and we integrate it here. Then we already see we can give it a title. Let's say these are some ideas for our cool project. Okay, so we have our container here, and we can of course also format our container. So we can select the color of the border outside. We can increase the stroke of the border. We can switch to a dashed border if we want to, something like that, whatever you prefer. Then what we also can do is we can select if we want to hide the title. This is the next option right here. So you don't see the title anymore, even though it is still there, which is important, as we will see in the next video. And yeah, and here we can integrate different sticky notes. And for these sticky notes, we have several options. So what happens very often is that you create plenty of sticky notes somewhere. I just copy them during an exercise, and now you want to group them. So what you can do is you can simply drag and drop your container to cover all of them. And then you can use the absorb function, which is the last one here. And now all the sticky notes are absorbed by the container, which means they are integrated and you see they are bound together. So now you can move the container and everything here is integrated. And of course, you also can integrate new sticky notes like this one. And so this is part of the container as well. You also can double click straight in. It also works. Okay, so this is a concept to arrange our sticky notes. And to give it a more neat expression, we can use the grid layout. And if we hit the grid layout button, then the sticky notes are already arranged automatically. So this already helps you to get a better overview. So, and typically we have one container, I don't know, with some ideas, then maybe we can get a second one. I just duplicated it now. We can say some risks that we encounter and stuff like that. Okay, maybe I want to change now the color of all the sticky notes. Then I can select multiple of them by hitting the Shift button and using the mouse. So I select multiple items and I can change them to pink. Okay, so this is what we can do with the container for now. And the container is pretty important because we can use it to structure our exercise. We can reveal and hide them, but this is what we see in the next video. So that's the container element. And the next thing that we can do is we probably also want to integrate some random other elements like pictures. So we can use the image icon here. And here we can say import some images from my computer. And so I could select a picture. What I'm doing very often here is that when we're working together, I don't select a picture, rather I just take a screenshot or a snippet from some area of my screen to integrate it. This is, for example, during the participants introduction round. If people didn't provide an image of them, then I just take a snippet with the Windows snippet function of their camera picture, so I already have a picture of them. Yeah? I can demonstrate this one for you. So I'm just taking a snippet with the Windows screen capture tool from my preview window. You don't see it, it's on a different monitor. And now with Ctrl V, I can insert this picture, and that's my picture. Yeah, just taken from my OBS screenshot function. We also can change the size a little bit, or we can crop it like this. And so we have pretty easy integrated some pictures. Yeah, it already moves back because I have changed, I selected to use the grid layout. I also can undo this one. And now it's a freeform area again, and I can move it just in the way that I want. Here is my picture. What's also very nice here is that if you just search for some pictures, then if you open the image section here, then you can search for images or keywords. For example, let's search for a cat again. And then you have some pictures from the internet that you can easily integrate. I like this cat here. Yeah, it's a really good cat. Okay, so just integrate it here. It's free form again. Now I can resize it. Yeah. And now we have already some containers with different sticky notes, some pictures, and that's already, yeah, most of it. The second last thing is that we do not only can integrate pictures, we also can integrate any type of files. So for example, if we want to use a PDF to work on it, I just give it some space here, move this to the side. Then we can select the files element here. And now I can choose to integrate some files. I can just simply drag and drop it, or I can browse from your computer. So let's make this one, and I choose this one. Okay. And here we have some handwriting PDF. When it's a PDF, it is already opened, so we already get a preview of the page. Maybe you remember this page, it's from the handwriting video, and so we can work on it. If it's a different type, or if it isn't big enough, then you still have the open function here, which is basically the link to the document, and if I click the link, it will open in a new window again. But if this is a document that we want to review together, then we have it already here, and now we can integrate some sticky notes again, like this one. And so you can leave your additional commands with sticky notes, and of course you also can integrate comments here. I just can, for example, use the right click and say add comment. This is my comment here. And so we already have a comment here. And if we click it, we can see it. So, and you see, this is a very flexible concept here that you can use to collaborate, and it gives you plenty of freedom to design your exercises, and you keep them pretty much the same way as you would design them for an on-site training where people are standing in front of a pinboard or of a whiteboard to collaborate. Yeah, I think that's everything. No, the last thing I forgot, here you also have some drawing capability. So if you select draw, now the Mural changes to a drawing mode. You have different pens available, and you can either use your mouse to draw, which is of course not that comfortable, difficult to draw a cat like that. Or if you are prepared and you have a touch device, then of course you also can, no, does not work the way I want. Hello. Okay, I didn't flip my screen, so I'm writing just like on the wall. Doesn't work so well. Okay, so but basically you have the concepts to draw. You can change the color. You have an eraser and different pens, like everything you would expect in a drawing environment. In the end, if we are done with drawing, we say done drawing, and everything is finished. This drawing function can also be used within one particular sticky note. So for example, let's say this is my use case X. If I want to create the use cases are always blue. And now I can decide that I want to show how the use case works. And I can change from the text mode to a drawing mode, like switch to sketch. I'm asked if I really want to do it because I'm losing the text. Yes, I want to. And now I can draw inside this one. Like here we have our use case. And I can show, for example, which actors are involved. I'm done with that. Okay. And so you have a drawing in your sticky note, which again you can use in the same way as you would use all the other sticky notes. This concept of drawing here inside Mural is, on the one hand, it's pretty nice, but on the other hand, in the beginning, I tried to make exercises where people can draw, but what I forgot was that not everyone has a touch device. So my suggestion is to not rely on the drawing, to make it optional, and rather to use it for your own. So probably if participants make an exercise, then you could use the drawing function. For example, if you want to discuss or make a resolution or stuff like that, then you can use it, I don't know, to highlight something. That's an important thing. Yeah, this is okay. But I would not rely on drawing for participants. Okay, so I think that's pretty everything that we can do with the Mural from the participants' perspective. We have seen how to navigate through the mural. We have seen how to integrate sticky notes, and we have seen different ways how to integrate them. We used pictures, we used icons, we created a simple flowchart on basis of the shapes and connectors feature. We have seen drawing and the integration of documents. Okay, and now I would say, let's give it a try and experiment with these things on your own. So take your time, pause the video, and try to create a mural on your own. And to experiment, I would say you could create the freeform area framework like the one that we have created. You set the title to your name. You can insert a picture of yourself and then use a blue circular sticky note, or if you prefer pink, that's also fine. And name your favorite animal, for example, and use green and rectangular sticky notes to describe why you like it. But that's just a brief idea. In general, it's about experimenting. So experiment with all the possible features, try out. And the most important thing is, think about yourself as if you were a participant in a training that is confronted with the tool for the first time. And maybe you also want to take notes, what you experience, what you like, what is easy for you, what is tricky for you. Because everything that you're experiencing in this first mural that you create is probably pretty the same thing what your participants experience. And how to deal with the participants' experience and maybe how to structure such a mural in a better way, this is what we're going to see in the next video when we take a look at mural preparation and the trainer perspective, which gives us some pretty nice options to structure an exercise instead of working on just a blank piece of paper. So I hope you have fun with experimenting here and see you in the next video with the trainer perspective. See you there.